How's it going, everybody? My name is LuckyBunz. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at all the events for the month of August in Pokemon Go. We have a lot to get through in this one, so let's just go ahead and jump straight into it. So first of all, let's go over the current season bonuses, and this is going to be the last month with these bonuses, so we're going to have 2 special trades per day. The Daily Adventure Incense is going to be extended from 15 minutes to 30 minutes, and I strongly recommend taking advantage of that. I have been going on way more walks during this season. It's been really good for both, the chance at encountering a Galarian bird. I've run into so many during this season, more than I ever have in the past in Pokemon Go, so I do encourage you guys to get out there, get some walking in, and of course give yourself a chance to actually get one of these Galarian birds. Next up, let's talk about the Shadow Legendary Pokemon featured from Giovanni, and then we'll talk about which one's going to be featured in raid battles. So from Giovanni, Shadow Dialga is going to continue to be the featured Pokemon until August 11th during this month, and then we're going to get a new rotation of grunts and leaders along with a new Shadow Legendary Pokemon. I'm not entirely sure what it's going to be. I'm going to speculate maybe Giratina, and typically we don't see like Shadow Legendary Pokemon make their way into Pokemon Go until there's like other really good Pokemon alongside it. For example, if we got Shadow Giratina Origin Form, that Pokemon would have smoked everything else out of the water, but now because we have Dawnwing's Necrozma, it would probably be closer to that comparatively, and in that case, it doesn't actually mess up the meta too bad. But then again, that is just my own theory as far as covering this stuff in Pokemon Go. I've been doing this for a very long time, and so I think it would make sense to get Giratina next. But again, let me know your own thoughts in the comment section down below and if you have any predictions. Now in terms of meta relevance, as a dragon type attacker in raid battles, Shadow Dialga is going to rank under Shadow Palkia, Palkia Origin Form, and Shadow Salamence, and it's going to be about on par with Black Kurum, Shadow Garchomp, Shadow Dragonite, and Dialga Origin Form. All of these are actually really good options as dragon type attackers, so if you have any of them, I mean, you don't really need to get yourself a Shadow Dialga. Now as far as steel type attackers go, it's about 5 points lower than Shadow Metagross with Meteor Mash, and far worse than Zacian Crown Form and Zamazenta Crown Form. If you're actually curious which are going to be the best steel type Pokemon you can power up in Pokemon Go currently, I strongly recommend watching this video right here. Now when it comes down to PvP for Shadow Dialga, it does rank in the top 60 for the Open Master League, but you do want to ideally have the Hundo, and getting that from Giovanni is going to be really difficult. I mean, your chances of getting the Hundo are very slim. Now, I do also want to mention that we are going to have an Origin Raid Day on August 10th, which is most likely going to bring back Dialga Origin Form, hopefully with Roar of Time, and that is definitely what I recommend going with as far as investments for the Open Master League, because it's basically the same thing, and it's going to be much easier to get that Hundo. So once again, if you haven't used your Super Rocket Radar, I would encourage you to actually stack it moving forward, and then see what we get for the next rotation. If you guys aren't actually sure how to stack your Super Rocket Radars, then check out this quick video on screen. Okay, next up, let's talk about the Shadow Legendary Pokemon featured in raid battles over the weekend. When it comes down to the featured Pokemon, that is going to be Shadow Regirock, the official 3rd rotation of it, so after this rotation, this is most likely going to be the final time that we see the Shadow Regis in raid battles for a very long time. If you haven't gotten your Shadow Shiny, or if you haven't gotten one for PvP, I would encourage you guys to go out there and try to be proactive about this. When it comes down to the pattern that we've had so far for the Legendary Beasts being Entei, Raikou, and Suicune, we had them for 9 months. And then for the Regis, we also had them for 9 months. So moving forward, I think we're going to get a pair of 2. I mean, we could get like a pair of 3, but I think it's going to be Shadow Latios and Shadow Latias, especially because we just had those Pokemon featured in Dynamax raid battles recently, so I think that makes sense, but it could literally be anything. We'll have to wait and see. Now going back to Regirock though, in terms of meta relevance, this does rank in the top 80 for the Open Ultra League, and it does not require any legacy movesets, unlike Shadow Regi Ice and Shadow Regi Steel. So whether you want to hunt down the Shadow Shiny or get one for the Open Ultra League, make sure to do these when you can during this month, because it is not going to be coming back, at least not for a very long time, and that might even just be for like a special raid day event. I think most of us are probably pretty tapped on the Shadow Regis though, so I don't imagine a lot of people are going to be doing them, but anybody who kind of waited until the last minute, yeah, maybe get out there and do a few extra ones. Next up, let's talk about the Research Breakthrough box and the featured Pokemon. So we're going to have Aerodactyl, Galarian Corsola, Gible, Sinistea, Charcadet, and Frigibax. Every Pokemon I just mentioned except for Sinistea does have the potential to be shiny. I just recently got a shiny Charcadet this past month, so I mean, make sure that you guys are actually getting your daily research stamps in. You do have a chance to get a remote raid pass from these as well if you have no more than 2 in your Pokemon bag, although it is really rare, but it does happen. Now speaking of remote raid passes, let's take a look at the raid battles next, starting off with legendary raid battles. So the rotation cycle is going to be from 10 AM to 10 AM local time. Keep that in mind as we're going through these dates. The first Pokemon is going to be Virizion, available during the first few days of August. This is going to rank in the top 50 for the Open Ultra League, so a really good Pokemon, but it's a Pokemon that you actually have to mirror trade because you do want to get an ideal IV spread for PvP, something like low attack, high defense, and high stamina. The IV floor from raid battles is going to be 10-10-10, so that isn't exactly optimal. I do actually have one build that I got from a trade, so it is really good, and it has held up in the meta for quite some time, so I would probably go out there, use your free passes, because it isn't going to have Sacred Sword, the legacy moveset. You're going to have to give that an Elite TM, but you know, don't worry about it too much. If you happen to get a good IV spread from trades, then you can always give it the Elite TM later. Following that, from August 4th to August 11th, Lugia is going to be the next Pokemon in rotation. Lugia isn't good to use in raid battles, it's actually terrible to use in raid battles, but it does rank in the top 50 for the Open Master League with the legacy moveset Aeroblast. Unfortunately, this moveset isn't going to be available during this rotation, so if you end up getting like the Hundo or like a 98% IV, you will have to use an Elite TM if you want to actually build one. To complement Lugia, Ho-Oh is going to be the next featured Pokemon from August 11th to August 18th. This does actually rank much better than Lugia in the Open Master League, currently in the top 20 with the legacy moveset Sacred Fire. But once again, this legacy moveset isn't going to be available during this rotation, so if you actually get a good IV spread, you're going to have to use an Elite TM. Now, as far as its meta relevance in raid battles, this is going to be a decent fire type attacker, especially if you end up getting the Hundo and build that up to like level 50 for the Open Master League. Following that, Zacian and Zamazenta in their hero forms are going to be available over the next few days, specifically from August 18th to August 22nd. And then after that, we're going to get them in their crown forms on August 23rd and August 24th. Now, I would only recommend using your free passes on the hero forms and save your premium passes for their crown forms. The main reason for this is because the hero forms are not going to award you with the transform energy, and that's really important. Like, I feel like if you're going to be spending raid passes, you may as well do it for the ones with the energy rather than the ones without. Now, we did just recently have Zacian and Zamazenta featured in their crown forms at the end of June during Go Fest, but to refresh your memory on their meta relevance, these two are the best Pokemon in the Open Master League right now, like literally the number 1 and number 2 spots, and on top of that, they're also the top steel type attackers you can power up for raid battles and also max battles. So I would strongly recommend saving up your Pokecoins so you can raid them enough to get the energy, especially if you ended up falling short during their first rotation. This is likely the last time we're going to see them in raid battles for a long time, so do not miss your second chance to actually farm energy for their crown forms. It is super duper important. Now, additionally, on top of Zacian and Zamazenta in their crown forms, we're also going to be getting Eternatus available during the same time as well, but there is a lot to unpack there, so I'm going to spend an entire video, possibly even 2, covering that Pokemon. Long story short though, you're going to get 1 from the special research, and you can only farm the energy and candy through raid battles. You're not going to be able to catch more than 1. Now, this is an extremely powerful Pokemon, guys, so regardless of the IV spread that you end up getting, do not be afraid to power it up to level 40 over time. I can promise you will not regret it. It might be kind of annoying to look at, like, depending on how bad your IV spread is, but trust me, the IVs really don't matter that much. It's the base stats of a Pokemon that matter far more, and how much you power it up. Now, finally, the last Pokemon that's going to be featured is going to be Necrozma at the end of August, but unfortunately, this is not going to be in its Dawnwings or Duskmane forms, which means you're not going to be able to farm fusion energy on it. Now, for the spend to win players out there, you know, you can probably raid this as much as you want for that chance at the Hundo or potentially even a shiny, possibly even a Shundo, but for anybody who doesn't spend that much money on this game, I would not recommend using more than your free passes on Necrozma during this rotation, because you ideally want to save them up for when we get the chance to farm the fusion energy, and that's when you actually want to raid them hard. So save up your raid passes for that opportunity, and trust me, it's probably going to happen at some point. I really have no idea why they've been releasing them this way, but it's just super confusing. Like, ever since the raid day that we got last December 2024, we had Duskmane and Dawnwings Necrozma raid day. That gave us the energy, but we didn't have the ability to fuse them because we didn't have Cosmog or, you know, Solgaleo or Lunala, so that was kind of pointless. And then we just recently had Solgaleo and Lunala featured in raid battles during the month of July, but now we can't get the energy, so it's definitely really confusing, and I feel like a lot of players are probably not going to understand that these Necrozma are not actually worth raiding more than just your free passes. You can definitely do it if you want to, but, you know, if you don't really spend that much money on this game and you really want to save up those passes for something good, this is not the time to use them. So basically, long story short, when it comes down to the raid bosses during this month, the main thing that you do want to save your premium passes for is going to be Zacian Crowned and Zamazenta Crowned form. Everything else, I would use your free passes, maybe like a few premiums if you want to, but for the most part, those two should be the main targets. They're extremely important Pokemon that you do want to get your hands on. Now, additionally, on top of that, we're going to have raid hours taking place every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. local time. Typically, whichever legendary Pokemon is going to be in rotation is going to be the one featured during that respective Wednesday. On August 8th, we're going to have Lugia. On August 13th, we're going to have Ho-Oh. On August 20th, we're going to have Zacian and Zamazenta in their hero forms. On August 21st, we're going to have Zacian Crown form. On August 22nd, we're going to have Zamazenta Crown form, and then finally on August 27th, we're going to have Necrozma. Now for those of you who are kind of unfamiliar with how raid hours actually work, basically most gyms are going to have the featured Pokemon appearing and the raids are going to reset after about 25 minutes. This means you can hit the same gyms again at the half-hour mark, which is pretty convenient if you only have like a few gyms around you. Now on top of that, I would also encourage you guys to check out Campfire for any local meetups before this event. That's going to be the best way to actually find other locals in your area, and if you don't have anybody setting up the events, you can always set one up yourself. Next up, let's take a look at the Mega Raid rotation. So first of all, we're going to have Mega Aerodactyl for the first few days of the month until August 4th, and this isn't the best rock type attacker in the game to use anymore for raid battles, but it's still going to be a great pick for candy farming because it takes on the dual typing of rock and flying. Next up, we're going to have Mega Ampharos available from August 4th to August 11th. This takes on the dual typing of Dragon and Electric, which makes it another really good Pokemon to use for candy farming during certain events. I personally do use this one a lot more than some of the others. The next Pokemon is going to be Mega Slowbro, available from August 11th to August 18th, and it's definitely been quite a while since we've actually seen this Pokemon in rotation. I guarantee a lot of you guys out there definitely want to grab this for your Mega Pokedex at the very least. Now in terms of meta relevance, there isn't really that much for this Pokemon, but it does take on the dual typing of Psychic and Water, which again is quite useful for candy farming during certain events. After that, we're going to have Mega Pidgeot from August 18th to August 25th. Mega Pidgeot, in my opinion, is an amazing Pokemon to pick up, because not only does it take on the dual typing of Normal and Flying, which is super useful, the energy required to actually Mega Evolve it is extremely cheap. It's like one of the cheapest Mega Evolutions. This means you can actually get it to Mega Level 3 really quickly without having to wait too long for the cooldowns. Now in terms of meta relevance, it's also going to be a great Pokemon to use as a flying type attacker in the raid/gym meta, especially if you don't have Mega Rayquaza with Dragon Ascent, because that's basically the best of the best, but that's a really difficult Pokemon to get, and most of you guys out there coming back to the game probably don't have it. Now the Hundo does also max below 2500 CP, so if flying Pokemon ever become meta relevant again in the Open Ultra League, it's going to be really good to use there as well. Now finally, the last Pokemon is going to be Mega Salamence, available from August 25th to September 2nd. This is going to be the third best Dragon type attacker in the game behind Mega Rayquaza and Mega Garchomp. So if you don't have either of those, you definitely want to add this to your team, especially because we just had Bagon featured during the Steel and Scales event, which was really common, so hopefully some of you guys out there were able to get some good IV spreads on it. Now on top of that, Salamence does have access to the Legacy moveset Outrage, but you really don't need it. Draco Meteor is still going to be a great option to go with. Now finally, just some quick information for anybody new or returning coming back to the game. When it comes down to these Mega Pokemon, I'd recommend doing at least 1 to 2 raids to get the initial energy to Mega Evolve them for the first time, and then afterwards you can just walk them as your buddy to get more energy that way. The ultimate goal here is going to be to get your Mega Pokemon to Mega Level 3, which is unlocked after 30 days of Mega Evolution. This is going to give you significantly better candy bonuses when catching Pokemon, and trust me, during certain events, you're definitely going to want to have them. Next up, let's talk about max battles. So the first two in rotation here really aren't going to be good. We have Dynamax Kabuto and Dynamax Omanite. I can't think of a single reason why you guys should be doing these. They're just not useful for anything. Some people might make the argument that Omanite when evolved to Omastar is going to be like a rock type you can use for max battles, but I feel like we have so many other good options. Like even GMAX Pokemon doing neutral damage are probably going to be better than that, so I would not worry about it. Now we do actually have Dynamax Trebuch available from August 11th to August 17th, and while it isn't useful for anything, it is going to reward you with 750 Stardust per catch. So if you really have nothing else to use your MP on, you can definitely do these and actually farm some extra Stardust for it. Now we do actually have a blank spot here when it comes down to Dynamax battles during August 18th to August 24th, and that's because we're going to have the Dark Skies event from August 18th to August 22nd. Now during this week, guys, when we have this event, it's going to feature a wide range of Pokemon and Dynamax battles every single day. Now finally, the last Pokemon in rotation is going to be Dynamax Chansey, available from August 25th to August 31st. The GOAT has returned. When evolved to Blissey, this is one of the best tanks, if not the best tank to use in max battles. Dynamax Chansey can also easily be soloed as well, so you don't really need to have like the best Pokemon to actually start farming this. When it comes down to the IV spreads as well, you only need to focus on 15 HP and 15 defense, because you're never going to use the attack to do damage. This also means you're not going to have to upgrade the max attack, only max guard and max heal. And once again, guys, this is probably the most important support Pokemon you can build for max battles, so I would strongly recommend farming this if you don't already have one built. Now I do want to clarify, even though these are going to be the featured Pokemon in rotation, you can still encounter other Pokemon that are going to be out of the rotation. So for example, you can still see Dynamax Chansey earlier in the month, but during its featured week, it's probably going to be weighted a bit more heavy, if that makes sense. Next up, let's take a look at the upcoming events for this month, and keep in mind these are going to be based on your local time zones. So first of all, we're going to have the Fossil Research Day on August 2nd. or this is basically just the Adventure Week for 3 hours. They nerfed Adventure Week like crazy. I don't know why they did it. Like, Adventure Week used to be a really big event in Pokemon Go. It was one that I always looked forward to. But yeah, Adventure Week isn't even Adventure Week anymore, so I'm not going to cover that one in like a tips and tricks video on the channel because there isn't really anything worth covering. We're going to talk about the Fossil Research Day right now, though, and so this is basically just going to be a field research day where you're going to have a boosted shiny rate on the following Pokemon, Tyrant and Amora. Now, in addition to the field research tasks, we're going to have the following Pokemon available in the Wild Encounter pool: Omanite, Kabuto, Lileep, Anorith, Cranidos, Shieldon, and then for the rare encounters, we're going to get Tirtouga and Arkin. And on top of that, we're also going to have a paid-timed research available for $2, getting you more research tasks for Tyrant and Amora. So I think that can be pretty fun if you guys are going to go out there and play for like 3 hours during the day. Might be worth picking that up, but definitely not required. The following day on August 3rd, we're going to have GMAX Butterfree Max Battle Day from 2 to 5 p.m. local time. We're going to have the following bonuses. All power spots are going to be GMAX Butterfree, costing 800 MP. Power spots are going to refresh every 30 minutes. The remote raid pass limit is going to be raised from 10 to 20. MP collection limit as well being raised from 800 to 1600. We're going to get 1/4 adventure distance for MP, which basically means going from 2 kilometers to 0.5 kilometers, and you have to do this once before you get access to this bonus. We're going to get 2 times MP from walking, going from 300 to 600. 8 times MP from power spots, going from 120 to 820, and then we're also going to get a timed research available on the 28th of July, so that should be today as I'm uploading this video, and then that's going to get you 300 MP if you catch 5 max Pokemon, 300 MP if you level up a max move 3 times, 300 MP if you unlock a max move, and then 500 MP for completing the research. I think when it comes down to this, you know, if you can catch 5 max Pokemon, that's a good way to get some extra MP for the GMAX Butterfree Max Battle Day. But like leveling up a max move 3 times, unlocking a max move, if you're going to do this anyways, then go ahead. But if you're not going to do this and you're just going to like do it on a random Pokemon, it is quite resource intensive. It's like 100 candy to upgrade a max move just once. And so, like, that's a lot of candy for some players out there. If you have the resources, by all means, more power to you, but don't feel obligated to actually do this. And then finally, we're going to get 2 additional special trades to do during this event for a total of 4. It's a super good bonus, especially because a lot of players do come out for these GMAX raid days. I haven't been getting Lucky Friends that frequently, so honestly, I haven't been able to take advantage of it, but a lot of people around me have. So if that is you, I mean, really make sure to take advantage of this special trade bonus. And then on top of that, because it is going to be a GMAX raid day, we're going to have an event ticket for $5. Basically, it's going to get you a timed research, going to award you 25,000 experience plus a max mushroom. You're going to get 2 times max battle experience during the day. That's going to go from 25,000 to 50,000. If you add a lucky egg on top of that, it's going to be 100,000. And if you pay 200 Pokecoins, that can go from 100 to 200,000, so it can get pretty insane. The XP gains can be really, really good if you actually spend a lot of money on this game. To each their own, that's definitely not something I do, but I think if you want to fast track your experience, it's going to be a great way to do it. And then on top of that, we're going to have the MP collection limit raised from 800 to 5,600 with that ticket, so that's going to get you a few more free ones to do as well. Now overall, when it comes down to GMAX Butterfree and its meta relevance, it's probably going to be like the best bug type we have available, but we don't really use bug types that often as far as GMAX goes. Now I do like GMAX Butterfree. I think it is pretty cool, so I'm going to go out there, I'm going to play this event. I think you guys should too. If not just for the Butterfree, do it for the bonuses. The bonuses are amazing. Every single GMAX rated that we have, guys, it is just so good. Like the experience, the Stardust, everything about these raid days is amazing. So make some time to go out there, at least do it for like an hour, maybe 30 minutes, and I guarantee you will not leave regretting it. Now on August 3rd, we are also going to start another event that's going to be the Sweet Swarm event, and that's going to last until August 6th. So this is also going to be another event focused on field research tasks, but not entirely. The featured Pokemon are going to be Combee and Swirlix, and they're also going to have a boosted shiny rate. I'm not entirely sure what this shiny rate is going to be. It could be like 1 out of 10 like it normally is for research days, but at the same time, I don't think it's like a research day, so then it wouldn't be 1 out of 10, it might be like 1 out of 64, 1 out of 128. 1 out of 128 is the typical shiny rate for the wild encounters when they're boosted, and even then, recently, I don't know if I've actually believed that. So I'm gonna say boosted shiny rate, but maybe be a little more skeptical on how boosted it actually is. Now, another bonus that we're going to have is going to be that lure modules are going to last for 1 hour, which is going to be pretty cool. And then finally, we're also going to have 2 timed research quests. The first one is going to be from August 3rd to August 4th. It's going to get you encounters with Swirlix. And then we're going to have another one from August 5th to August 6th, which is going to get you encounters with Combee. Now, right after this event ends, we're going to be going straight into another event, not even like a 1-day break, and that's going to be the Crazy Companions event going from August 6th to August 12th. I'm not really sure what they have planned for this one, but if we actually take a look at the spotlight hours around the same time as well, it's most likely going to be related to like Plusle and Minun in some way, and maybe like a few other Pokemon. And then on August 10th, we're going to have the Ultra Unlock Part 3, which is going to be the Origin Raid Day event. Now, this hasn't been officially announced, but it's most likely going to be the return of Dialga and Palkia origin forms. Giratina origin form might be also included as well. Fingers crossed they actually include their legacy movesets and they make them guaranteed, because you can't actually Elite TM to get Roar of Time or Spatial Rend on Dialga and Palkia respectively. This means that if you are lucky enough to get the Hundo, you could still be unlucky enough to not get their special moveset, which would just be tragic. I wish I could say I didn't, but I do actually have a few friends who did experience this, and they still haven't emotionally recovered from that burn. I mean, I don't blame them either. That is quite the emotional roller coaster. Getting the Hundo, thinking like, oh my god, I finally got the Hundo, and then not even getting the moveset, or being able to Elite TM to get the moveset. It's pretty brutal stuff, so hopefully they do kind of fix that during this event. Now, right after that event from August 11th to August 17th, we're going to have the Team Go Rocket Takeover, as I mentioned earlier on in the video. Start saving up your charge TMs right now so you can remove frustration on all of your Shadow Pokemon. I mean, you really need to get a head start on that. Now, on top of that, if you haven't gotten yourself a Shadow Shiny Gible yet, I would definitely be more proactive about that, because the leaders will be rotating out at the start of that event along with the grunts. And believe you and me, that Shadow Shiny Gible is quite the Pokemon to get. Now, for my longtime viewers, you already know that I love the Rocket events. You can definitely expect a lot more videos from me around that time to help you make the most out of it. Now, during the Team Go Rocket Takeover event, we're also going to have two overlapping events as well. The first one is going to be Pokemon Worlds in Anaheim, taking place from August 15th to August 17th. Now, to clarify, Pokemon Worlds stands for the Pokemon World Championships, and I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to be going there myself. I may go because I do actually live in California. Anaheim's like a 1-hour drive away, so I might go out there for that weekend and kind of see how things are, especially, you know, with the Team Go Rocket Takeover at the same time. It could be really, really fun. But basically, they're going to get some in-person bonuses, and then even if you don't have like a ticket to the actual event, you can still play alongside like the event area. I went to this back in 2017, and it was so much fun. We had Kangaskhan featured, a bunch of different unknowns. It was a blast. Now, obviously, not everybody's going to be able to go to Anaheim, so we are going to get some global bonuses on top of that to go alongside it. We'll have to wait and see what those actually are. Now, for the second event, we're going to have a Shadow Raid weekend on the 16th and the 17th of August, basically to end off the Team Go Rocket Takeover. I really have no idea what this Pokemon is going to be, but fingers crossed it's going to be Shadow Mewtwo. Now, we are not going to have any breaks during this month, seriously, because the next event is going to be taking place the day after, from the 18th to the 23rd. That's going to be the Dark Skies event. Now, I'm going to have many videos going over this massive one to get you guys ready for it, so if you haven't subscribed yet, I would strongly encourage you to do so. Now, after GoFest is over on the 24th, we're going to have the next event from the 25th to the 31st. That's going to be the Sunkissed Shores event, and whatever this is, I'm just hoping that it's not that important, because I feel like most players are probably going to be burnt out after the GoFest finale weekend. We have had way too many events in Pokemon Go, and trust me, I get it, it's a good problem to have, but damn, I'm feeling pretty fatigued, and I guarantee a lot of people out there probably are too. Now, of course, so during that weekend, we're also going to have two more events. I mean, big surprise there. We're going to have Rookidee Calm Day on the 30th, and that's going to be taking place from 2 to 5 p.m. local time. Typical Calm Day bonuses: increased Rookidee encounters, boosted shiny rate of 1 out of 25, 3-hour lure modules and incense. Special bonus is going to be 1/4 hatch distance, 2 times catch candy, 2 times chance to receive extra large candy from catching Pokemon if you're level 31 or higher. 3 special trades in total, snapshots, special Calm Day moveset's going to be Air Cutter, guaranteed special background, special research being $2, tons and tons of good stuff. I'll save you guys all the details for right now. It is going to be one that you do want to play if you can, and I'll cover this as we get closer to that event, but as of right now, especially if you didn't get the shiny during the Steel and Scales event, because that was the debut of Shiny Rookidee, you'll definitely get it during this event. And then finally, on the 31st, we're going to have the Mega Raid Day, which is currently a mystery. We only have a few unreleased Mega Pokemon, and I am hoping this is going to be a new one rather than like a repeat. It's most likely going to be related to the Sunkissed Shores event somehow, so if you have any predictions, let me know in the comment section down below what you think it might be. Now, finally, to wrap things up for August, let's go over the Spotlight Hours taking place every Tuesday from 6 to 7 p.m. local time. Shiny forms will be available for every Pokemon I'm about to mention, so just keep that in mind. The first Spotlight Hour is going to be taking place on August 5th. That's going to feature the Pokemon Swirlix with a special bonus 2 times Catch Stardust. Now, thanks to the Sweet Swarm event taking place at the same time, Swirlix is supposed to be shiny boosted. This is the only reason I would actually play this Spotlight Hour, and that's mainly just going to be to shiny check. The catch rate on Swirlix is pretty bad, and it's also not going to be great to use in raids or for PvP, so if you want to get the shiny, play this event, maybe just click on them and run away. Otherwise, yeah, I would definitely skip this one. Now following that, on August 12th, we're going to have Plusle and Minun, with the special bonus being 2x catch experience. In my opinion, another skippable Spotlight Hour. There's no meta relevance for either of these Pokemon, but there is a possibility that once the Crazy Companions event starts, that they might actually get a shiny boost. And so in that case, it might be worth going out there to hunt them if you are still missing the shinies, but otherwise, I'd probably skip this one too. Next up on August 19th, we're going to have Ralts with the special bonus 2x catch candy. In my opinion, this is the most important Spotlight Hour of this month, because when evolved to Gardevoir, it's going to be a great fairy type to use in raid battles, and when evolved to Gallade, it's going to be good to use in the Great League and Ultra League metas for PvP. Gardevoir also has a Mega Evolution, which makes it the best fairy type attacker in the game, so whether or not you want the shiny or need a good IV spread for raids or for PvP, I would strongly encourage you guys to go out there and play this one, and especially for newer or returning players watching this, you can catch and evolve high-level Ralts, evolve them all the way up with just 125 candy, and boom, now you have a stacked team of Gardevoir, stacked team of fairy type attackers without having to spend any Stardust. And basically from there you can just upgrade your team slowly in the future, but honestly speaking here, having a stacked team of Gardevoir as fairy type attackers, you're going to be solid for a very long time. Our last Spotlight Hour is going to be taking place on August 26th with the featured Pokemon Lechonk, and the special bonus being 2x transfer candy. In my opinion here, the main appeal of this Spotlight Hour is going to be the special bonus being 2x transfer candy, which is going to be 2 days after the Go Fest finale event, and I'm positive you guys are going to have a bunch of really good Pokemon stockpiled. To make your life easier, I would just create a search tag before that event starts, throw them all in there while you're playing over the weekend, and then, when this event comes around, you can just transfer them right away. But otherwise, guys, that pretty much covers all the events for the month of August. Overall, I'm actually really happy to see that the events aren't super great at the start of the month, because it does feel like it's been way too overwhelming the past few weeks, and it's actually kind of nice to get a break. It's definitely a good problem to have. Honestly, I'm not going to complain about it. You can always just choose not to play the events, but when we have really good ones in Pokemon Go, it's kind of hard to skip them because I feel like these opportunities are just so good. But maybe that's just the FOMO talking. I try not to get into it too much. As always, I would love to hear what you guys are personally looking forward to during this month in Pokemon Go. Let me know in the comment section down below, and if you guys do want to check out some more content in the meantime, I'm going to recommend these two videos right here.